What's going on, guys? It's Stewie, your friendly neighborhood gamer, and welcome to a brand new series on the channel. Today I'm going to be doing a top 5 video, and today's top 5 is my top 5 favorite Pokemon movies. I'm a huge fan of the Pokemon movies. I actually enjoy them a lot more than I do the actual TV show. I feel like the Pokemon movies are something that I look forward to like every year whenever they come out. Multiple movies come out every year. And I just enjoy the Pokemon movies so much, and I could watch them over and over again because they're so good. So I figured, why not do a top 5 video? And doing the top 5 video is actually harder than I thought it would be, choosing 5 of the Pokemon movies to be in the top 5. And I'm going to have some honorable mentions before I announce the top 1, but without further ado, let's get to the number 5 spots in my top 5 favorite Pokemon movies. Alright, so at number 5 we have Pokemon Ranger and the Temple of the Sea. Now this movie sticks out for a couple of reasons. One is the fact that it doesn't really focus too much on Ash, and it kind of puts the focus on May, one of Ash's traveling partners. I really like that. I really like how in this movie, May is the main, kind of like the main focus, and she kind of drives the story further more than Ash does. Not to mention that the music is really, really good. And just the whole movie, like the cinematics and the whole sea temple, and I just like the idea of that, the idea of going to a destination or trying to find a temple or something. It had like a grand sense of adventure, and this movie did it really, really well. And just a well-made package, probably like one of the better of the newer movies. I consider it one of the newer movies, although it is quite old. But yeah, I really do enjoy it. It's a great movie. If you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. Again, like all the movies on this top 5, go check them out because they are great. But anyway, so let's move on to number 4 in my top 5 favorite Pokemon movies. Alrighty guys, so coming in at number 4 we have Pokemon Lucario and the Mystery of Mew. Now this movie stands out to me again, obviously if it's on the top 5 list. This movie has a sense of adventure, kind of like the 5th pick on the top 5 list. It has a sense of adventure, and Lucario is one of those Pokemon that I really do like, and he's I feel like Lucario is one of my favorite Pokemon. Probably in my top 10, top 15, something like that. But Lucario is really cool, and if you guys have been around the channel or you guys may know a little bit about me, I really enjoy time travel. And this movie does time travel in a really cool way, where you get to see like glimpses of the past, but you don't get to see the full picture, and things kind of develop throughout the story, and we kind of get different tidbits and stuff, and how things turned out and what happened and stuff like that. And I feel like this movie does time travel probably better than a lot of the other movies do, because time travel is kind of like a key aspect to some of the Pokemon movies, and I feel like Lucario and the Mystery of Mew does it really well. And it's pretty cool because Mew is in it. Mew has been a Pokemon that reoccurs throughout the movies and stuff. And I feel like it's one of my favorite just because I can go back and watch it and never get bored of it because of the adventure, the sense of adventure. And that's a lot of the main reasons why I love the Pokemon movies, is because the sense of adventure. But anyways, let's move on to the number 3 pick on the top 5 favorite Pokemon movies. So starting out the top 3, we have Pokemon the movie 2000. This movie is freaking awesome. I remember seeing it as a kid and just being awestruck in how awesome it was. Lugia became my favorite Pokemon after seeing that movie, or my favorite legendary Pokemon rather, and Lugia is so badass. Lugia is one of my favorite legendaries and one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. And I remember when I got my first Lugia, I was so happy because I felt like I had one from the movie and I was able to ride it like Ash did. I was pretty weird as a kid, but again, this movie has a great sense of adventure. I love the story. I love how, the 3 legendary birds call upon Lugia, and how Pokemon kind of tie into the environment and they have an effect on the environment, which is really cool. And I think I mentioned the music. The music is great too. It's just, this movie is so awesome, and it's one of the ones that stand out to me from when I was a kid watching it. I remember pretty much everything about it, and I like how Team Rocket kind of became good guys throughout the end, or near the end of the movie. And it was just a great movie. It did what all Pokemon movies should: have great music, have a great sense of story and adventure, and have a cool Pokemon as its main feature, I guess. But anyway, so let's move on to the second pick on the top 5 favorite Pokemon movies. Alright, coming in at number 2, we have Pokemon the first movie. Now this may come as a surprise to some of you guys. I've been around Pokemon pretty much since it began and since it started, and my entire life. And Pokemon the first movie was the first Pokemon movie, and it was badass. Pokemon the first movie was amazing. Mewtwo was so cool, and how he was kind of like the bad guy, but humans forced him to become the bad guy. And I love how he kind of develops as a character throughout that and Mewtwo Strikes Back. Both movies were really cool. And if you guys haven't seen, I think there's like a 10-minute, 20-minute little intro showing how Mewtwo was created, which is really cool, and it adds to the story that I didn't really see as a kid. And just this movie was just really cool because it has the clones and stuff, and it was the first movie, so I had to put it on the list somewhere. So it comes in at number 2. Wasn't my favorite Pokemon movie, but the next one is. Before I get to the number 1 pick on my top 5 favorite Pokemon movies list, I want to give you guys some honorable mentions. So the first honorable mention is Pokemon Heroes. Now this movie features Latios and Latias, and it's really cool, and I really like the ending of it. It didn't make it onto the top 5 list just because I couldn't fit it in, but it's a great movie, one of my favorite. I would definitely say it's in the top 10, obviously, but yeah, so the next movie is, there's actually 3 movies that kind of tie together, and it's the Pokemon movies that took place in Sinnoh with, Dawn and with Brock. Now, the first one is with Dialga and Palkia, the second one is with Giratina, and the third one is with Arceus. Sorry, I was drawing a blank there. With Arceus, and the stories tie together, and it's really cool how they do that because no other Pokemon movies have, tied together like that or connected to each other, and I thought that was really cool. And it was kind of something different, connecting the stories and, driving one big arc throughout different movies. I thought it was a cool idea, and I kind of hope they go back to that for, the future movies. But anyway, so those were my honorable mentions. Let's move on to the number 1 pick on my top 5 favorite Pokemon movies. Coming in at number 1 is Pokemon Forever. Now this movie is my favorite movie for a multitude of reasons. One, if you guys remember when I said that I love time travel, well, this movie is all about time travel, and it does it so well. And I really like how you get to see how things change, and how going into the past or going into the future kind of affects the future and the present time. And this movie does it extremely well. Celebi is one of those characters that you just can't help but love. One of those Pokemon you just can't help but love. And I just love the sense of adventure, and I love how Suicune comes into the story. And it's just one of those movies that I remember watching as a kid and just being, awestruck and wishing I could, have a Celebi, have a Suicune, have a Tyranitar. And this was in the times before I can actually, get those Pokemon. So seeing them on the big screen was so amazing, and really drove me to, get a Tyranitar, which I still have to this day from Pokemon Fire Red, and to, get a Celebi, get a Suicune, and train them and have them, and just, it was awesome. I remember when I was a kid, most of the Pokemon that I, kind of fell in love with and kind of became my favorites were the ones from the movies, or ones I was able to obtain in the game. So, seeing Pokemon Forever just added to that, and it's one of those movies that I just can go back and watch and just enjoy it like I did when I was 10 years old. So coming in at number 1 is Pokemon Forever, and that is the top 5, or my top 5 favorite Pokemon movies. Let me know what you guys have to say down below. Let me hear your top 5 favorite Pokemon movies, if you guys even have a top 5. On the next top 5 video that I do, I will mention which Pokemon movie came in first and which ones you guys voted for. So make sure you guys leave a comment telling me your favorite Pokemon movies, or your top 5 favorite Pokemon movies, or if you have just one, leave it down below. Check out the description for any important links you guys may need. I have all my social links down there, my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram, all that kind of stuff. And subscribe if you haven't already for more gaming content and other top 5 videos. And as always, I will see you guys on the next one. Peace!